Right, Pat, we're on to the next stage now. While we're driving around in any of these areas, it's quite possible at any time that we may encounter, hopefully not, but an emergency situation where somebody could stop suddenly in front of you, or a child may run out, or even just a pedestrian may just step off the pavement. Any sort of emergency situation can crop up at any time. So as a result, we want to be prepared for that. So you've obviously done your homework, I take it, as you've done on all the other subjects so far on the emergency stop. So just before we have a try at that, I want to just confirm by asking you one or two questions that you have retained that knowledge. So the signal I'm going to give you, just so that you're quite clear on that, because it doesn't explain about that in the test first of all, will be a simulated signal. You'll find on the driving test, when you eventually get around to that stage, that the examiner may use something similar, a similar signal.
Right. Okay.
So how I'm going to warn you, I'll be making sure by looking behind that there's nobody behind you, so you don't have to worry about using the mirrors. You've read that. It's not essential in this occasion.
Yeah, you haven't got time
No,
to
you haven't got
check
time.
'em.
You've got to concentrate on stopping.
Yep.
It's an emergency, so I'll be making sure that it's safe behind.
Right.
And having checked it's clear, the signal I'll give you will be like this: stop. I'll raise my right arm like that, the same sort of signals a policeman would give you to stop, and I will say the word stop at the same time.
Okay.
I won't shout at it, so as you don't get the fright of your life,
Right.
but you would get a fright in a natural emergency anyway, wouldn't you?
You would, yeah.
So, quite clear on the signal.
Yeah, stop.
So, don't react to me looking round, because it may not be safe for me to give the signal. So, don't sort of, when I look back, think, oh, here
Right.
it's coming.
Okay.
It might not be. I might have to have several looks back before I can give you the signal.
Yep, okay.
So, wait for the signal. So, what's the first thing that you're going to have to do? What's important? Can you remember what the first thing that you're going to have to do is?
I need to brake.
No, before you brake, what are you going to have to do? A word, one word. How are you going to have to act?
Quick.
Well, that's near enough it. It's a quick reaction, fast reaction, whatever you like to call it. We've got to get onto that pedal quite quickly. So it's a case of the quicker the reaction you've got, the better to the signal.
Yeah.
So there's no point in you taking, in other words, ages to get your foot across. So you've got to get onto the pedal as quickly as possible, right?
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Today we've got nice dry road conditions. Can you remember what difference it makes if your roads are wet here braking?
Yep, it'll at least double it.
It would, that's right. So we're not going to have to worry about the braking in that sense today. So how are you going to brake? You normally brake progressively. Would you still do that here?
You brake a lot faster.
Yeah, more firmly if you like.
Firmly,
Yeah. Right. But would you still brake progressively?
Still, yeah.
You wouldn't try and put your foot down as far as it'll go right away?
No.
No. That's the important point, because that's what most people think they must do,
Right.
is get that foot all the way to the floor immediately. If you do that, chances are you're going to lock the wheels and skid.
Right.
So you've read about that you want to
Yeah.
prevent skids. It's not a case of how to cure them. We want to avoid it if possible. So nice progressive braking, but a bit firmer than usual.
Yep.
Right, good.
Right, yep.
What about the clutch? Did we put that down at the same time, or when did we put that down?
You put it just before you stop.
Well done, yeah. So leave that to the last gasp.
Mm-hmm.
What about your hands? Where are you going to have them?
On the wheel.
Would you keep the same grip, or?
I wouldn't. I'd hold on to the steering wheel a bit
Yes, a little
tighter.
bit tighter.
Yeah.
It helps you to brace yourself. Don't depend on the seatbelt holding you, which it will, but brace yourself against it as well. Yeah, keep a nice firm grip on there. Any idea why you've got to keep your hands on the wheel, apart from keeping it on a straight course?
Well, if I did go into a skid, I'd have to steer. wouldn't I?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that's the point. So your hands are there, right? So both hands on the wheel. So when I give you the signal, we want you to get onto the brake, both hands still on the wheel, then just before it stops, down with the clutch. What are you going to do after you've stopped? Both feet are down. What do you do normally?
I put my handbrake on, put it into neutral.
Right. Now, before you pull away again, you would normally do certain observations by checking all three mirrors and looking over your right shoulder.
Yep.
Is there any additional observation that you're going to make this time?
Would you look over your left? Because you're not
Yes,
going to be
you would.
parked, are you?
That's good, and you've answered it in one. That was my next question, is why would you look that way? Because we're not going to be in a parked position, so somebody could pass us on the inside.
Yeah.
Even if you're not that far out, it could be a cyclist or a motorcyclist or that.
Right.
All right,
Yep.
so
Like
it's-
that woman walking
yeah,
across.
yeah, pedestrian, anybody, yeah. Okay,
Yep.
quite clear on that?
Yep.
Right, so any questions before we have a try at it?
No.
No? No, you look all tense. Oh, gee, I'm not looking forward
I've heard
to
a lot
this.
of tales about this emergency stuff.
Right, you'll feel much better once you've done it. And then the important thing is that if you ever are confronted with an emergency
At
situation,
least know I
you'll
can
feel
do it.
confident of
Yeah.
being able to do it. You're not going to
Yeah.
be worried about it. Oh, I hope I don't hit him or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so when you're ready, we'll make a move. And we'll just want you to drive normally. So don't try and anticipate, oh, I think he's going to give me it now.
Okay.
I want you to drive at normal speeds, right?
Yep.
Okay. So we'd like to just move off when we're ready and just heading our way all the way down this road.
Just down this road, okay.
I'm not saying I'm going to give you it in this road. I may do, I may not.
Going to surprise me.
An emergency is an emergency,
Yeah.
so you don't know when it's coming.
Yep.
Where else are you going to look? Yeah, good. Stop. Right, now if you just like to move off, and we'll pull up just down by the lamppost there, just slightly further down. So where else are you going to look? No, before that.
Oh yeah, that one.
Right, easy to forget, isn't it? Even though
Yeah.
we just discussed it.
Yeah.
Right. And then pull in just down here and we'll have a little chat about that one before we have another attempt. That's fine. Okay, good. Right, how did you feel about that one?
Well, I stopped it a bit quicker than I normally do, but not very fast, was it?
No, it wasn't. You're quite correct. The reaction wasn't too bad. You got your foot over there reasonably quickly, but the pressure wasn't firm enough. No, you were obviously frightened of skidding. Most
Yeah.
people are at first, and they're
Yeah.
frightened of, either they hit it far too hard or they don't hit it hard enough. So firmly, and what you did, you just went on and you just kept the pressure
Yeah,
there.
I
You
just
didn't
braked
increase it.
progressively.
Well, yeah, smoothly was the way I would have put it, rather
Right.
than progressively.
Yeah.
He didn't increase it, so it's a case of going so far, then a bit more, then a bit more, and you do that fairly quickly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so that was a lovely smooth stop. I didn't even move in the seat.
Right.
You should have been. Imagine that you're trying to bounce my head off the windscreen. That you don't like the look of me or something. You know, there
Yeah.
should be an actual physical movement. You didn't feel your body straining against the
No.
seatbelt, did you?
No.
No.
No, I didn't
Because
move
there
at
was
all.
nothing. There was nothing there to stop it. So much more firmly the next time.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's a case of getting the brake on, getting across the brake quickly. You kept your hands on the wheel, and clutch was all right, but the braking was nothing like it should have been. Okay.
Right.
And try and remember when you're moving away. You did remember before we tried it, but once you've actually done it, you've stopped there and just the usual checks. It's
Knowing it
something
and doing
new.
it's two different things.
Yes, that's right. Stop. Much better. We'll just pull into the side of the road again now. And just in here. And straighten it up again. That'll do nicely. Make a car safe. Right, now you tell me, how was that one? Did you notice any difference
Yeah, I
there
stopped
that
a lot
time?
quicker.
Mm-hmm.
A lot quicker, and I didn't stall. I thought I would do.
Yeah, and how late did you leave the clutch?
Very late till I just.
You didn't
till
think you could
just
leave the
before.
clutch as late as that,
No.
did you?
No,
But you did that correctly. What
So
else
that
did
was
you
all right.
remember to do correctly?
I did my checks after I moved
Yeah,
off.
you did. Well done. Right. So you see the difference now?
Yep.
So you're quite happy with what's required there?
Yep, I think so.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. Well, we'll have practice of that later on again, but you've got the idea there now. That's the important thing now. First time, obviously, you were frightened to brake. The second time, just too soon with the clutch, and you were forgetting your look round. But you're getting the idea there now.
Good.
Okay.
Yep.
If you just like to move off again when we're
Right.
ready. We'll get an opportunity later on in the lesson. We may try it again. You know.
Right. Okay.
Okay.